This screencast is going to cover lesson 3.1 from the Photoshop Revealed series. Let's go ahead and get started by opening the correct data file we need. So to open a data file, you can either go to File, Open on the menu, or you can double click the background and you'll be prompted with a Finder window. So wherever you have stored your data files, could be the DMT folder. I have one here called Photoshop Video Work. Let's go ahead and open the data file from the Chapter 3 folder called ps3-1.psd, which is a Photoshop document. And as soon as we open that up, if I mess up, I want to be able to have a document to go back to in case I have an error. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Command-Shift-S, which is File Save As. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as a separate document so I can go back if I mess it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to locate my Photoshop data file. So I have a folder here called Photoshop Video Work. Yours could be DMT or another folder. Photoshop Video Work. I'm going to make a new folder here. I'm going to call this one Classwork. So it's things we've worked on together. So I'm getting my data files from the Photoshop folder, but I'm just going to save everything to the Classwork so I don't clutter this area up. I want to keep this by itself. So I'm going to save this one under Classwork as, instead of PS3 3-1, we're going to call this one Up in the Air. And you can put spaces on these documents. That does not matter. I'm going to click Save. If you get a little box that says Maximize Compatibility, click OK. So now we have a working document. I have my Photoshop document open. I can see my layers over here. Let's go ahead and get started. So first thing I want to do is I want to be able to work with rulers in a document typically. So to turn rulers on, you can either go to View, Rulers, or what I like to do is use the hotkey, which is Command R. If I do a Command R, that turns the ruler on and off. By default, if you right-click the ruler, by default the ruler is set to inches. Primarily, and it depends on what you want to do, but primarily we're going to be working with pixels. So I'm going to right-click that ruler itself and go to pixels to convert that to pixels. And you can see this document is about 625 pixels wide, roughly. So now we have our ruler set up. Let's go ahead and go to the layers palette. On the layers palette, you can see we've got two text layers. We've got some of the balloons, and then we've got sky, and we've got this weird layer down here called background with a padlock. And it's just a white blank area, and I don't see that anywhere. So right now it could just be a useless layer. So let's go ahead and click on that layer. And at the bottom of the layers palette, you've got some tools for that layers palette. Okay, let's go ahead and click on the trash can, which is going to ask us to delete that layer. It's going to say, do you really want to delete the layer called background? Yes, we do. Go ahead and click yes. That removes the padlocked background layer from the layers palette. Now, make sure you're clicked on the blue sky layer. Let's say we want to put a padlock on sky and we want to convert this to our background because this is the backdrop of the entire document. So sky is selected. We're going to go up to Layer on the menu, and we're going to go to a new layer. And rather than creating a new layer, we're just going to make a background layer from the layer we're selected on, which is the sky layer. I click on that. That automatically turns the sky into the background layer with the padlock. That will conclude lesson 3.1. Next up will be 3.2 and 3.